A very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. EURUSD has been pushing further in towards the downside after making a valid retracement back up in towards the overall order flow. So this is the power of order flow, guys. What you always want to do is just showcase the entire buy up before the sell down, because what most traders will do is that they're going to be, let's say, refining their area of supply to either this or to this, and then you're going to see that you're going to be missing out on a lot of trades. So that's why I just always indicate the entire order flow and we follow that in towards the downside. So overall, looking at the daily, it was clear the overall momentum was still definitely in towards the downside. We have the sell-off, we have a valid retracement, and then again we have a valid sell-off with supply being in control the entire time. As long as this black high was respected, the overall fractal structure was going to be bearish as well, giving it, let's say, a lot of sense that we were going to sell off further in towards the downside. Now this morning we have broken the low over here, so this black line hinting to me now, or showcasing that this is now our fractal high. So as long as this fractal high is now respected, and this is going to be your your new supply zone, this buy before the sell, as long as that high is respected, we once again should continue selling off in towards the downside. So I am looking at this major swing low over here next from EURUSD 1.06. so that is what I have on my radar, and I'm going to be following the overall order flow in towards the downside, to there. As we can also see, this 4-hour area of supply, these two wicks, they played out to absolute perfection, pushing the market down lower. I would have preferred for us to come up one more time, liquidating that high and then selling off, but the overall momentum from bearish perspective is just too high. So only interested in further downside, nothing really on the long side for myself. Yes, what could happen is that we just, let's say, fake out on this low and see a further reversal back in towards the highs. Also fine by me. Then just grab a little bit more liquidity, maybe above these highs or above this range, and then look for another sell-off in towards the downside. So that is what I have my eyes open for at the moment on EURUSD. Looking at the dollar index is also showing a bullish momentum. Focusing purely on the daily time frame, we can very clearly see that we made a substantial pullback. I think it was last Thursday indeed, back up or back down in towards this area of demand, so this sell before the buy, and then what you can see is that we tap in and straight away we just rocket out again. So expecting further highness or further higher prices from the dollar index. Not going in towards lower time frame, the daily is good enough, and then obviously on the daily we still have a lot of equal highs open. And what are equal highs? Equal highs are just descending highs next to one another, which indicate that there is liquidity resting above these highs. Okay, so there's more than enough room for the dollar index to continue on its run in towards the upside. Now going into AUDUSD, what are we seeing from this pair? So AUDUSD is a little bit different to euro dollar. The reason being that we saw a fractal break of structure in towards the upside. So what do I mean by this? Well, we saw a push down, a push back up, a push back down. That is over here. Then we saw another push up, so a push up, and now we have pretty much this demand zone that is currently in control. So that could push Aussie dollar up higher. However, I am mainly going to be following EURUSD for the day ahead. Today we also have France bank holiday, and we also have US bank holiday, so I'm not expecting too much from today, more from tomorrow. But for now, Aussie dollar demand is in control, so I am not interested yet in looking for any further shorts until we break this low once again. That is when I'm going to be further interested in shorts, as for now we could just indeed see what I just mentioned, a liquidity grab on euro dollar, and then Aussie dollar just starts flying again. So we want to have the time frames aligned for now. Going in towards the 4-hour time frame as well, you can also see that we saw that break, of course, in towards the upside, right? So then you could classify this as your demand zone, something like this, and then you would be looking maybe for one more sweep of the low and then potentially a reversal back in towards the upside. For me, it's a little bit too uncertain. I want to see a clear demand flow start to form. We have demand, where again we have demand, and then I'll be looking to get along on here, because then there's still more than enough room to long it up in towards a new higher high. So that's what I'm looking at on AUDUSD. Now going into GBPUSD. GBPUSD is still very, very ugly. It is still looking a little bit more bearish than bullish at the moment. Looking here at the daily time frame, we can clearly see that we broke the fractal low over here. So now this is your fractal high. As long as that fractal high is respected, so this is the high that broke this low, we are still looking at further downside. Not interested in any buys just now. Also looking here at the lower time frame, you can very clearly still see that we are just consolidating. I'm not personally a range trader, so I am staying out of GBPUSD for now. There are far more interesting pairs to look at. Going into NZDUSD. NZDUSD here on the daily is very similar to AUDUSD, where we also have a bullish fractal structure on the daily time frame. So again, we pushed in towards the downside, we pulled back, we pushed down, and then we broke back in towards the highs. So as long as this low over here is respected, it still makes sense for the market to push up higher. But then again, I'm not going to be longing just yet. What I want to see is, first of all, a sweep of the low over here, because yes, you could classify this as an area of demand, but first I would want to see a sweep of early buyers getting out, then a break of this high once again, pull back, break of the high once again, pull back, and then trade with the overall order flow again in towards a new higher high. So similar to AUDUSD is what I'm also looking at from NZDUSD. And then last of all, gold. What can we see from gold? Well, gold is just bouncing in between supply and demand. So this previous week's supply zone here on the 4-hour time frame pushed the market down lower. Now we're back inside demand, so we could expect a reaction. Overall, the price action is still bullish from gold in the sense that the trend is still in towards the upside. This is an area of consolidation, right? An area of slowdown, which caused an initial reaction. Who knows, maybe we will swipe the low one more, and then we could start seeing some further upside once again. What I'll be looking at is the 4-hour time frame and see how that forms. Let's see if we can get any demand chain starting from here. If we now break this high once again, and again this then becomes your new demand zone, then we'll have kind of like a double demand flow, which could indicate to us that we're ready to start taking out these two equal highs. So I'm going to be waiting for this high to get taken out and for the demand flow to start, and then I'll be looking for a long back up in towards these descending highs, and potentially also back up in towards an all-time high, because for now the overall momentum is definitely still in towards the downside with supply now being in control. So let's see what this demand zone does. We need to validate this demand zone before taking any action. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. Make sure to join Discord, and I hope to see you there.